All right, welcome back to the show. So, it's the...
It's not the fucking news, man. Why have you never said that before? We haven't just had an ad break.
We might have. This is
What the fuck was that?
Yeah, this is the...
All right,
It's sponsor breaks. We need to give them places where we potentially put an ad. There might have been an ad at the start, and we say,
Oh,
welcome.
that seems very unlikely. All right, Carl Stefanovic, welcome back to the show. So, Hollywood, haha, fuck, man.
We'll cross over around, men on the ground. No, we have none of that.
Ent Bruckman.
We're gonna have any of that. Probably won't run any of it. We won't run any of this. And we're not live, so...
Well, we're live now, but by the time this is
wasted
heard,
hard
it's
drive
not,
space on fucking
on bullshit lies.
pretending I got fucking sponsors when we're going to have have the YouTube fucking saying, hey, there's enough people viewing your stuff.
Yeah.
We're just put ads. Fuck.
But yeah, regardless, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Apparently, suddenly.
Hey, it's episode 1. Hey.
Well, let's not fucking call that out there.
All right. So, okay, it's the 1st of September. Now, that's important for a few things, a few reasons.
Father's Day.
Yeah, it's Father's Day.
Yep.
Oh my God, it's Father, I gotta go.
I'm going to be Melbourne.
Yeah. So, anyway. So, it's the 1st of September. And we've slightly touched on this topic before in a bit more of a ranty, uneducated... none of that's changed. It's going to be ranty.
No, it's going to be exactly the same as Ditto,
Yeah, but it's going to be a little bit more focused today. So the Australian Prime Ministerial election is coming up.
Yep, sure is. Less than a week.
I'm going to be out of town when that shit happens.
Yeah.
All right. And I don't vote anywhere.
You can't vote.
That's
not you don't, because we covered this before. It sounds illegal.
You're right.
You're already downloading. We don't want you fucking...
not voting, right.
Yeah, welcome back to jail. Like, we don't want that.
So I'm not going to be here, and I'm not going to be in the country.
Yeah.
So we thought we'll touch on, like, some pre-election... Because Luke's been fucking, finger on the pulse.
Watching television.
Through the whole thing. So we'll get these sort of pre-election thoughts. When I get back, we'll discuss the outcome, I guess. But let's just sort of be a bit more... pre and post about things.
Yeah. Look, I'm just going to talk to you about like you're going to ask questions and I'm going to come up with things. It's just general, like, this is do something. Don't just welcome people and then piss off. I've checked out.
I've got my coffee.
I've done my intro. I'm fucking done. Yeah. No, it's just like a general sort of my feelings. Like, I don't need to read the newspaper to go, Joe Hockey said this. It's like, well, from what I've gathered from the 6 months, 8 months of watching this whole thing unfold, this is what the conclusions are or the feeling I've got,
Yeah, I find that I'll either read a headline and not think I need to read any more than that. Like, it will say, Abbott confirms Liberal Party aren't going to show the details of their policy.
Yeah.
Right, and that,
so what's left?
They make that a 5-word headline.
Yeah,
right. So what am I going to read about? Why they're not going to? No, that's all bullshit.
Yeah,
they're not. That's fucked.
That's the story. Yeah, that's the end of it. There.
Like you're touching on about where's the money for parental leave coming from. We're not going to find out until you're in the fucking booth already.
Yeah. Oh, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck you and your children.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Well, the thing is that like 70% of the print media is anti-Labor, it seems, and that's been a real big contentious issue in the country. People not being happy with the way that's being played out. Murdoch, I think News Limited papers have had a big agenda.
Yeah, well, a friend of mine he put a funny kind of video thing up, and his commentary was something to do, like, because I was sort of chatting to him.
Yeah.
On another show I do, called Facebook.
Do you welcome people to that show as well?
And I think he was sort of saying something where it was like, it's almost like Murdoch helped Rudd get in last time.
Yeah.
And is now calling in favours.
Yep.
And they're not getting answered, and now he's
going to... fuck you.
look what I'm doing.
Yeah, I've got the power to...
It's like the mafia, dare I say it. Like, that's what it is, right?
Yeah, and it was interesting because I watched a documentary the other day, Central Park 5, I was telling you about it. It had Donald Trump in it during the early 90s, taking out ads to bring back the death penalty to kill 5 teenagers, 16, 15-year-old boys who were convicted of a crime they ended up not committing. It was a perfect storm of conspiracy of police, prosecutors, DAs, and it was just funny because one media-rich mogul was able to shape an entire city against these 5 wrongly convicted teenagers. And it's all been proven that they didn't.
Yeah, you know. and it's not your. We were talking about this in another context, but your opinion just like shouldn't dictate that sort of.
Oh, it's supposed to be unbiased. It's supposed to be middle of the road. I thought, not. You know, the headlines have been really fucking obviously anti. And they're defending, saying, "Oh no." Well, they were. They're not defending it anymore.
I've never been asked to do something. I mean, I disagree with things that happen at my job, my previous jobs, right?
Yep.
But I've never been asked to do something like that.
Yeah.
Put this on the front, like, because, you know, Murdoch isn't a printer, you know. Or
he's not there.
A designer. He's not doing the layouts. He's not even the copyright. So there's other people in the chain. Now this is what... this is off topic a little bit, but you've just made me think about it.
Yeah.
Someone had to type in that headline. Junior design layout guy. And, you know, they've probably gone, hang on. Like, this isn't right.
Yeah, that doesn't seem right to me. We don't want that on the paper.
You know?
Yeah. Well, it's the Daily Telegraph.
And so there's an element of, say, bullying. That's a bit of a... You know, that's a strong statement to make because I don't know the situations.
Well, everyone's got to pull the company line, which is dictated by one guy's business dealings with the Prime Minister or...
to the news. But what I'm saying is there's clearly... Like you said, when you do something at work that you don't agree with, it's seldom anything that important. It's more just, well, I think we should do this
way.
You know. But it doesn't... You know, it's not national paper... on the counter of every cafe country.
Yeah. With the Prime Minister dressed up as a Nazi. Yeah, saying he's as bad as kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why I sort of jumped to that thinking, you reckon someone walked out of an office?
No. In that particular industry, everyone's trying to hang on for their jobs for dear life. I mean, they're all getting fucking booted out all over the joint.
Well, I'd like to know the story of a guy who did. And said,
we'd be very lucky to hear it, to even know that it happened, let alone get the story.
But it's just you know, something that would be an interesting thing to hear, that someone walked out and a fucking chief editor said, fuck this. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it was just...
Wish it did, but no, people... Job security over convictions in this instance. And, you know, I mean, Murdoch's got all of his editors and you know... And the guys that run these things on tight leashes.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And then it filters down. No, this is the agenda we're sort of going
that's fair enough. It was just a...
Yeah, no, I do know what you're saying, though. It'd be interesting to see if anyone has actually put their job on the line and spoken up about it, and if they're still employed in the same capacity or if they've shifted. But, yeah, it's an interesting thing because political climate's been really volatile in the country for a while now, and a lot of people don't think that it's certainly not as dangerous here as other places in the world. Like, no one's fearing for their lives.
Right.
But some of the policy differences are really quite alarming, and it's really interesting that that kind of thing is being ignored in favour of he's taking selfies, he wears blue ties, he said suppository instead of repository, like bullshit.
Like the headlines was gaff, and just like it's the way the entertainment news is written in that section, like Miley Cyrus gaff, whatever. And it's
Kevin Rudd gaff.
Like, what?
It's like Big Brother politician style. Who's going to get voted out of the house kind of thing.
It's fucking exactly that.
Yeah, it's really weird, man. And I watch the news a lot, ABC, and I read ABC newspaper, and I try and follow it. I watch there's a lot of political panel discussion shows on the ABC News 24, and I try and watch as many of those as I can. And even they're losing me a bit in front. They don't really get to the depth of it. They want to cover 10 things instead of doing 2 really well. You know what I mean? It's interesting to see the change in coverage as it's gone on.
I mean, I find that it's like, even on Insiders or whatever, somewhere where they've got the Prime Minister or whoever there.
Yeah.
So we want to ask you, Prime Minister, about X and Y, and it's it's healthcare or some massive thing, right?
Yeah.
And once that question, like then Kevin Rudd will say something.
Yeah.
It will all go over my head, right? Whatever, right?
Yeah.
I'm not the audience for this, I guess.
All right.
But. Well, you know what I mean. It won't be like, I get it.
I get what he's
saying. It'll be like, okay, I see what he's saying there, and this and that. And then when it goes back to the guys, okay, so what about, and it's
something else,
water supplies. It's hang on,
very fast trains.
Shouldn't there be 15 fucking questions about healthcare?
And that's the thing.
Yeah,
those guys do a really good job on that show, and they discuss it, but they tend to want to cover too much. And what they should do is just let it go. Because ABC News 24, it's news. Yeah. So if there's news on, if you've got the Leader of the Opposition they had this morning, if you've got the Prime Minister they had last week, talk to him. And when he doesn't answer the question, stop until he answers the fucking question. Yeah. And that's been really frustrating with this media coverage.
Because if those guys aren't doing it, and as from my, when you look at just what they look like, you think these are the nitty-gritty,
And they started out trying to do it, but I think as the politicians have come in and been really evasive and then saying, no, we're not going to appear on your show, we're not going to give interviews because of what you said to the other guy from our party.
It may as well be, I'm not, if you do Letterman, you can't do Leno. Like, it all becomes a bit, shouldn't they have to appear, like, I don't know, like, shouldn't there be this sort of thing where ABC Insiders is almost like this unbiased government-run balance, I think. It's like, no, you do go on that show and you will answer because they are going to get to the heart of what people need to know, not
the bullshit.
And fucking what's your favourite colour? Do you like cricket or rugby? Because that makes you a people person.
What team do you support?
Yeah, like,
well, what they want to do is they want to keep Abbott out of that. They want to, and I was really surprised to see him on this morning.
Yeah,
but he was very tightly worded in his answers. He didn't go outside his answer. There was no, and when he said this, I'll just repeat what I've just said a minute ago, as opposed to answering the actual question.
Yeah, and I find that there should be an unbiased, tough questioning thing. And it's not to make them gaff. It's not to, you said the wrong word, and we're going to make the headline that. No, it's to just really get to the bottom of what this person represents.
We want the answers.
I couldn't give a fuck what Tony Abbott does in his spare time, right?
No, it's not important. Showing me photos of him running at 5 a.m. isn't really that interesting when he's said publicly now, and he delayed it as long as he could.
Yeah.
He's not releasing his full policy and costings, which is i.e. cuts, is what that's read as, until I think it's Wednesday night or Thursday morning. Right. So less than 48 hours until the polls open, and there's a 48-hour media ban on advertising. So whatever they are, the ALP won't get a right of reply to say, well, this is what they've said and this is why they're wrong, or we disagree, or whatever. Rest assured there'll be a lot of Labor politicians on the television doing interviews in the last couple of days, but the commercials that we've seen, that people... They're obviously making commercials because they're targeting people, the majority, people who aren't us, who watch the fucking slideshow or a current affair or what. Yeah. And they run those ads in that time to get those people, and they go, I didn't know that. I'm not voting for that guy. That kind of real knee-jerk reaction. And I asked you the question a little while ago, if voting wasn't compulsory, would the result be different? And I think it really fucking would. Because I think the people who've paid attention and who've really followed this election campaign, since Rudd was out, Gillard was in, Rudd's back in. Since that happened, I think that people have been caught up in that as opposed to what's actually happening politics-wise.
Well, to be honest, I had no idea what the politics were before that, and I didn't care. I didn't know. Like, I knew there was some Gillard's not popular thing.
But why?
Vaguely.
Why is she not popular?
I didn't understand any of that.
Because she's unmarried with no children, was what the Liberals were saying.
Right.
Well, how can you listen to her on childcare? She has no kids.
Okay.
And it's like, hang on a minute. How is that
Yeah.
not a fucking...
What I mean, what I was... When that thing happened and I was trying to watch fucking rugby was on. I was trying to watch Origin.
Yeah.
And I was being interrupted by this Labour's changing their leadership.
That's when Rudd came back.
Yeah, that night there was the first time I went, oh, this stuff with politics is there.
Yeah.
Like it was like it's back in the headlines.
Yeah, yeah.
And then 3 days later or whatever it was, he called an election.
Yeah.
So that's like you're saying, that's what's like it's all about that.
Yeah.
It's all become a little bit of a soap opera around all these sorts of things that really
don't matter.
You know, they're just what they, you know.
Well, it's interesting because they're trying to promote each of the leaders as the right man for the job.
Yeah.
But in doing that, they're not promoting the parties as the right party for the job. And that's really annoying people who do follow it to some degree.
Yeah.
And the people who don't follow it love it because I like Abbott, I like Rudd, I like Manly, I like the Panthers. You know, like it's just that. It's just that. And there's these people aren't getting policy news, plans, cuts, fucking savings, infrastructure updates, like the things that actually are going to happen and going to matter. They're not aware of any of that stuff.
And I mean, the reason I hate it all, personally, because what I do for a living is try and get, someone has to use this website.
Yeah.
We can't have our internal jargon on the site.
Yeah.
No one knows what that means.
Yeah.
And we're not dumbing it down. We are making it easy to follow, easy to understand, no grey areas, right? That's kind of that's what I need to achieve.
That's your aim
for my job. That's what I do for a living. That's what I want. Like, I don't want a pretentious, oh, you don't understand politics. Well, I understand right and wrong, and I understand basic human needs, and I understand living day to day. So if you're going to apply to that, you know what I mean?
Then what the fuck?
You know, I don't want to have to, you know, if you're the news and there's something about a policy, break it down.
Yeah, tell me.
Just explain it. There's no, you don't look smarter if you say a bunch of big words that no one understands, or that you dodge answers, or that you...
No. When you communicate, it's really incumbent upon you to make sure the audience understands.
Yeah, that's what communication
Otherwise, you're a poor communicator.
Yeah. And that's what I don't like about politics, in that there's this sort of...
It's obfuscating is what it is. What they're doing is they're putting the grey area in front of the black and the white.
Yeah.
So all you can see is, oh, he said that and she said this and they're all a bit silly. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
24-hour news cycle. Yeah. Oh, the other guy, he's a this and he's a that. Oh, he said the wrong word.
Yeah.
There's no accountability.
Well, but I mean, there's that. Yeah, I mean, even there's like carbon tax.
Yeah.
I've got no fucking idea how that actually affects my pocket. Like in any... Oh, it was a mistake. They've admitted it was a mistake. They said it was going to be a mistake. But no one ever sat down and fucking went, here's a miner, here's a fucking piece of carbon, here's where the tax fits in, and here's how it works, and here's the line, and here's how it affects you. It's like, just fucking explain it.
Yeah. Why is it? Why do we have it? Well, we have it because we're trying to put a price on it so that people who are big polluters, i.e. miners and industry, then pay for that, which the world is moving towards in the sense of being a greener planet.
Right.
Now, Australia is only, I think, 3% of the world's emissions. And again, I that's just a figure that I'm remembering. I'm very happy to be wrong and by all means correct it at a later date. But very, very small amount. But fuck it, we're trying. Yeah. And a carbon tax was essentially, you're a business, you earn money, you're about profitability, you have shareholders. Yeah. This is going to cost you. Yep. So you would be better off putting money into changing your practices as opposed to just paying a tax. Yes. As opposed to just giving out money and doing things the way you've always done it. You'd want to look into possibly research and development, possibly just upgrading your trucks. Yes. Could be as simple as that. Maybe having solar panels on your building instead of using purely coal-burnt energy. That's what it's about. Yeah. I don't understand why people think that's a bad idea.
Yeah. Well, that's it. You've just explained it to me. And I've not ever read or heard that anyway.
Well, the issue...
Because they won't ever say it that way. They'll talk about forecasting budgets and fucking...
billion this and...
Yeah. And what are you talking about? You're not... Because at the end of the day, forget the dollar values. Explain the philosophy.
Yeah, this is the idea, guys. Yeah. This is what we're trying to do. And the results are what they are. And unfortunately, the coalition Liberal National Party said, look, it's a shit idea. It's going to hurt your cost of living. Yeah. You're going to suffer. Your electricity bill is going to go up and whatever. Yeah. And it's like, okay, to a small degree, very small, it is. Yeah. You might pay an extra $300 a year for your power, maybe less, definitely not more, a year. Yeah. Break that down. It's less than $1 a day to have all the energy you fucking need. Yeah. And you know that extra $1 a day is your contribution to trying to make a greener country and therefore a greener planet. Yeah. The Liberals came out and said that, run this big scare campaign, and the Labor Party was like, oh, it was our idea, but it was Gillard's idea, and now Kevin Rudd's back. I don't want to be involved in that. Yeah, it's a floating price, and they were doing this whole big comparison worldwide, and it's like, well, you can't compare a mining nation like us, a manufacturing nation like us, with, I'd like to say, Italy, who don't have mines and don't manufacture on a massive scale. Is that a correct country to pick?
Well, are you saying you can't compare mining with manufacturing?
No, I'm saying those two activities generate a lot of pollution. Yes. And our country, they're the two main
So on the balance of...
You can't say Norway or whatever, any nation that doesn't do those things.
Right, fair enough. I understand. Yeah,
so, it's like, okay, so
apples and oranges comparisons don't really matter here.
So for the Libs to be saying, oh, well, and then you see that and you go, oh, shit, Norway's paying fucking $20 less per tonne. Yeah. And you say to the average person on the street, well, how many tonnes of carbon are you producing? Well, I don't know. Yeah, it's do you think it's 1 or 0 or, well, it's $20, and if it's 1 or 0.2, it's fucking $20. You know what I mean? Like,
it doesn't. But that's kind of my point. They put all that bullshit in the way of just explaining the philosophy. Because the philosophy is what matters.
Well, the problem is that you're right. It is the philosophy that matters. The idea, the end result is what we're talking about, and the end result needs to justify the means of how we get there, right? Yeah. So the problem is that with the leadership spill and then the re-spill, and they just fucking spilling shit all over the place, and then they changed and they didn't and whatever. Rudd didn't want to be associated with Gillard's policies at all. So all the policies that she instituted got a name change.
Yes.
So the NBN is now like the connectivity, something like it's changed.
It's all marketing.
Yeah, the NDIS was now disability care instead of the National Disability Insurance. It was all just, like you say, a marketing thing. Well, we agree with what she said, but we don't like her because she's the old leader, so we're going to change everything. Yeah. So that was kind of what happened with the carbon tax. Well, we don't want to be associated with that, so we're changing it now. Yeah. It's called a floating price on carbon.
Yeah, I mean, that's I always bring this one up because I think it's almost the best example of it. It's the term climate change, which just became a thing to say, just seemed like overnight, was a very, very good and smart, I dare say, very good marketing.
Yeah, it's a conscious decision. Global warming, we don't want to say. Yeah. We want to say climate change because it's not as threatening. It doesn't imbue as much panic in people. Right. And this is the thing. Like
and and it's the same issue.
Same fucking problem.
It's the same science behind the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
It's just not a climate change. It almost sounds nice.
Ooh, it's going to get slightly warmer.
Yeah. Oh, we'll go outside and
enjoy the climate change. Yeah.
And that's.
And it's a marketing thing, as you say.
It's not it hasn't solved any fucking problems.
No, there's still some problems out there. And this is the thing, what I was saying before with the Liberals, they attacked this price on carbon, this carbon tax. And everyone went, oh, fuck, I don't want to pay a carbon tax. Tax is a bad word, you know what I mean? And then the Labor Party has to reply to that. Yeah. And they get a small amount of media coverage. But the Liberals then get a massive reply back through the newspapers and the television saying, rah, rah, and then the Labor has to fight to get their point across. And while they're fighting to get that point across, they're not making new points.
Yes.
They're just defending themselves on an attack on an old thing. You know what I mean? They're not. So that's why they've been running around the last 3 weeks announcing policies all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
Because they've got a little bit of breathing room, and that's the last 3 weeks. I think they're done. I think Labor's done.
Yeah.
And I don't.
I think I said this last time when we touched on this. My understanding has been that they're not even in this election.
Yeah.
And that's almost a farce in itself. But then your thing on you make a good point where the problem is they're probably not in it, so they'll lose probably guaranteed, and then it's going to take 3 years.
Yeah. Then people are going to. I'll say it, and if I'm wrong, that's fine.
Yeah.
Happy to put my opinion out there and be wrong.
Yeah.
If/when, because I think the coalition's pretty much a dead cert.
Yeah.
When they get in and people see the results in 12 months, 2 years, 3 years' time, they'll realise why I believe the coalition is a bad government to have. Now, I'm not saying...
You're not even either or. You're not like a...
I'm not, according to my researching, my opinions most closely aligned with the Green Party. The way I feel about things most closely aligns with them. And the party that least represents the way I feel is the coalition.
Right.
But instinctively, watching what they say and the way they go about it just instinctively tells me that they're not the right party to have. Don't get me wrong, I'm not necessarily saying Labor's the right party or the Greens are the right party.
Yeah.
I just know in my understanding and my thoughts and my gut feeling is the coalition is the wrong party to have.
Yeah.
Watching them over the last 3 years, the way they've acted with the Gillard thing and Rudd thing and just the whole political turmoil, the way they've carried on, it's just sad. I mean, these people give interviews to mornings on Channel 9 more than they give them to the current affairs programs on the ABC, the hard-hitting actual... They're on there talking about I go for South.
Well, I mean, saying that, I mean, when Rudd became Prime Minister, the Liberal Party was doing the same schmozzles then. First it was fucking whoever it was, Turnbull.
Yeah, and then he got
Abbott, someone else was in between, if I remember correctly.
I think it was just the two of them. I think there was an interim, but
it's sort of...
It was stupid. It's silly.
Yeah.
You can't... I mean, okay, these things happen. That's
my point. It does, and it happened to Labor for years before that, between fucking... Latham and Crean and fucking the other... forget his name. The military kind of guy. Defense minister. Big dude, big guy. He actually ran against...
Sorry, mate, I can't...
Ran against Howard before Latham.
I really drawn a blank.
It doesn't matter. Anyway,
these things happen.
But that's the thing. Like what we're saying is that these things go on. And
like it happens to companies, it happens to political parties.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that it turns into a slinging match as opposed to Labor's made the right choice because their old leader wasn't the right one for them. Now they've moved on. Let's see what happens here. It's not in turmoil. They can't even run their own party. It's like, hang on a minute, guys. You've done the same thing. But that was... No. Why is it any different, you know? But the thing that shits me is that the media runs that.
Yes.
The media should say, we're not
they don't just run it. They almost make it.
Yeah, and they promote it as well.
Oh, it's a thing for them. Yeah. You know, like that's a good headline.
Which is annoying.
Labour in turmoil or whatever.
I'd love to see the fucking policy breakdowns and the issues that are actually going to... You know, I'm a tertiary student.
Yeah.
They're making cuts. And I actually directly felt those cuts.
You and 500,000 other people.
Exactly right. And that was like, hang on a minute.
Education is such a big thing for Australia, whether people think about it or not. But like that's one of our things. That's like an industry here.
Yeah, totally.
International students, blah, blah. Like it's not trivial.
No, it's huge.
We're basically the English learning centre for fucking Asia. You know, I'm obviously that's
but you're not far off.
No, but that's literally we should be making more of that. We should, that shouldn't be a page 18 somewhere. Go find it.
Well, instead we're cutting money spent on tertiary education.
But knowing that we're cutting it shouldn't be hidden away.
No, it should
bunch
be
of
Because people see cuts and they go, oh, that's bad. So Labor, who made the cuts, tried to downplay it as much as they could.
Yeah.
The Libs tried to play it up as much as they could. And the media's in the middle going, well, we're owned by them.
Yeah.
So we don't like him. And it's like, well, in the meantime, there are students who lost.
Yeah.
I lost my partial scholarship because of it. Okay, that's fine. I'll hex it and I'll pay it off. And it doesn't affect me now. It'll affect me in 5 years' time when I'm paying off the debt and it'll be twice as big as it was going to be. And you know what? That's okay. I'm still getting an education. I'm not up in arms and
haven't shut schools down or whatever. But
haven't shut schools down. Yeah. But it's not good to be taking money out. And then they talk about, the Gonski reform for high schools and primary schools. We want to put money in, but we're taking it out of education for tertiary education. So, well, that just seems a little bit incongruous to me. How can you have that position and the other at the same time? Yeah. Oh, this is a response to the reaction that we got about. So now we're trying to make it up to people. And so it's like, you know what? Just fucking, just don't be stupid about it. Just don't play these little games and try and one up and beat and this is what we're going to do. This is why we're going to do it. Yeah. Don't carry on with the bullshit arguing between the two parties. Just say, this is our position. This is why it's our position, and this is how we're going to make it happen.
Yeah, it's so like. I mean, I guess this is a different sort of debate, or whatever you want to call it. But it's funny that, that people say everything should be privately run.
Yeah.
Because it's almost to that point where the private sector's the only one that can get shit done.
Well, because they have to. They've got people to answer to.
Yeah, like, I mean, this sort of... But the thing is, the government should be number one in terms of having people to answer to.
Yeah.
I mean, we touched on this before. You fuck up, you should have, the village at your door with the pitchforks and the fucking broomsticks going, what the fuck?
Yeah, you fucked it, what's going on?
We don't have that at all here.
No.
This just goes on and we treat it like it's this thing on the news, this bigger than us event. It's not public service, it's government. You know what I mean? Like there's this disconnect. Like they're treated like celebrities.
They're not. I don't want to see them on Facebook, my Facebook feeds, photos of these people. I want them to be, why are you jogging? There's shit going on.
Yeah.
Syria's fucking in some turmoil here.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to be, all these photos of Kevin Rudd sitting around at the Harbour Bridge, like really self-reflective. Like, why are you in a tracksuit with the fucking Australia logo on it?
Yeah.
You should be on the phone to America going, what the fuck's happening in Europe? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, man. It's just really dumb. It's really annoying that it's been reduced to that level, and people only care about it on the proviso of, well, he said something funny, ha ha ha.
So he's a good bloke.
Now it's he takes selfies. I fucking hate that. It's every day they talk about how his hair's always messy. Like, are we serious?
Yeah.
We're not talking about friggin' some X Factor moron.
Yeah.
We're talking about the Prime Minister of the country here. Let's have some respect. And the way Julia Gillard was treated, any other workplace,
mate,
it'd be fucking all on. It was so bad, man. It would really piss me off.
Yeah. Oh, fuck, you couldn't do that where I work.
No, you'd be in so much trouble.
Yeah.
The shit they said about her and the way that it all sort of...
I mean, that kind of... there was that... And it's funny because there was that, that video of her going off at Tony Abbott about the whole sexism thing. And, I mean, she sort of nailed it.
I thought so.
Yeah, that was a really good... That was best piece of leadership speak I've ever heard in this country.
Bang on. And I watched it live when they had that argument, and I thought, fuck, that's amazing. What else can you tell me about leaders since that point, or since Rudd's come back in the last few weeks?
Yeah.
Any other examples of...
Yeah, I mean, that's it. He's pretty good at speaking in general, and I've heard him say some interesting stuff.
Some things.
Fucking Tony Abbott, you're not going to get a fucking speech out of him. Isn't that all these people need to know how to do? At the end of the day?
Well, the thing is that he doesn't want to go off script. His media handlers...
You can stay on script. Fucking...
Well,
the best speeches in the world have been scripted.
This is... Yeah, but
it's delivering them that you need to know how to do.
You're right. But this is the guy who said, amidst all the turmoil of the sexism thing, amidst all the problems with backbenchers and prostitutes and fucking bullshit like that, this candidate's good for the job. She's got sex appeal.
Yeah.
She's a good sort.
Yeah.
He wasn't saying, can you rate her appearance on television because the rest of your party's fucking, they all look like lizards. Oh, yeah, well, she's got sex appeal, so that's a good thing. They were saying, why is she a good candidate for the job? I mean, that's his answer.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. He's got no fucking...
He's hopeless. He was asked a question about foreign ownership of Australian land and what's his position, and the questioner said, because I think it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
And he said, well, we're not really selling the land to these people. And the questioner was like, well, we are, because they're buying it.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, but, you know, they can't take it with them back to their own country. It's like, mate, I don't really think that's the problem, that we're going to have big holes in the fucking country. How is that a response, man? Like, how is that a fucking response?
I expect one of us two to say that as a joke. You know what I mean?
Oh, like Australia's a fucking...
It's like fucking witty and quick.
Yeah, ha ha ha. Yeah. That was his answer.
Yeah,
that was his genuine answer. Yeah. And you go, well, no, I mean, there's issues with...
He should have said, well, it's not like they can take it with them.
Yeah.
Ha ha. No, seriously.
This is the answer. That was his response.
Yeah, I mean, that's fuck.
How dumb is that? And what the argument is, well, we need to sell to foreign investors because we need the money, basically, because we're in fucking deficit for the last whatever years. And he was saying, well, it still remains our land. Well, it doesn't because they own it. What it should be is like a 50-year land holdership title, and after 50 years it reverts back and it's renegotiated.
Yeah.
But we don't want to be selling off large swathes of the northern part of the country to Asia for them to grow food.
Yeah.
And then now we've got 40 million people in Australia. We've now got 20 major cities instead of 7 or 8.
Yeah.
We need that to produce. We need that land because we're building fucking education centres in Darwin or we're building research facilities or whatever it might be, you know what I mean? Oh, we can't because it's sold to a foreign... It's not even just a company that's the whole thing. No, it's a foreign company. China.
Yeah.
They're not really known for selling back off, you know what I mean? Like, they're kind of... They hold on to these assets because they fucking need to.
Yeah,
they can't feed themselves.
It's a scary proposition, really.
I think it's a bit of a worry.
They're the sorts of things going on.
Yeah.
The general public...
If we pulled up the newspapers and had a look, they wouldn't be on there. They wouldn't be on there.
Not unless he said he fucking Freudian slipped something.
Yeah. Then he said anus instead of fucking some other word. Yeah. Like instead of Asian or something.
Yeah. Like that would be the only time that got some.
Yeah, and only if it was Rudd, not if it was.
And I mean, it's funny because there's a joke about we always joke about this amongst friends of mine that you'll only get a news about soccer result. Well, you only get the result. You only get news about soccer if there was a riot. Soccer riot thing.
Yeah.
It happens one in every 50,000 matches.
Yeah.
And you'll get a soccer riot story, but you still won't know who won that game or not. You know what I mean? And it's funny because that's a joke about a niche thing.
Yeah.
But it seems to be that's the same for the most important thing happening right now in the country is the election. And there's no... What's the result?
No.
Don't worry about the riot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Ignore the fringe stuff. That doesn't matter. Yeah. Let's just talk about the actual crux of the problem. No, that's not what's happening.
Yeah.
And then you got like the Greens and the Independents and these guys getting a whole bunch of screen time and media by doing stunts or singing or carrying on. And you go, it's kind of like the Winter Olympics when they let those countries in that like as a bit of a free pass.
Yeah.
Well, we know you've never seen a snowy mountain before, but you're a skier apparently.
Yeah.
You're welcome. And he runs 20 minutes longer than everybody else, but everyone goes, oh, that's a good story.
Yeah.
Well, we've got that in the fucking election for the country, and I don't think that's a good idea.
No.
It's not something where you want everyone to just have a go.
Yeah.
Like, okay, it's a free democracy.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there's got to be some sort of screening process. Like Clive Palmer's fucking carrying on, and he gets... Because he's a stunt guy, he pulls all these stunts.
Yeah,
it's like Richard Branson.
Yeah.
He doesn't get it for being a great business guy. He gets it for jumping out of a fucking hot air balloon or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Clive Palmer's the same kind of thing. And it's like, I don't want to talk about him. I don't want to see him.
Yeah.
His party's going to get maybe 4 votes total. And that's all of it.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of... I look at the mainstream stuff. Now, I don't think that when there's an election on and there's policies and all that you should actually have to dig too deep to get to the crux of it.
No.
Because it's almost a responsibility thing where we should all understand it. Everyone who has to vote should really know what the fuck's going on.
Well, if you're going to vote, you should know.
Well, you should know what's going on.
Yeah.
But in terms of without even putting any effort in, I think you should actually know.
It should be available.
Right? Well, you should be that out there.
Yeah.
Like, because I know everything going on in fucking Britney Spears' life without investigating it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
without going out of my way, I know. And it should be kind of the same thing with key election issues, not gaffes.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, but that's fine. I'm not putting any extra effort in. I make the assumption, okay, if I want to go and research it, I'll figure it out. But what I hear from you is you're actively going that extra fucking 10 miles and you're still not finding
Still don't know.
And that really bothers me. It bothers me anyway, but it really fucking bothers me because you're a learned fucking guy. You're not, you know what's going on.
I try.
That's, be sensible, yeah? Like, you're not, an idiot. Like, you know what's going on. You know how to read. You know how to, right? And you're investigating. You're going that extra step. To really try and you need to vote and you're actually...
Because I want to know.
Yeah, you want to know.
I don't want to just vote for the latest
trend,
funny guy. Yeah. I want to fucking make it count.
And you're still not finding it.
No, it's not there.
And, what do you have to do? Become fucking Aaron Brockovich and go fucking... digging through archive files and sneaking your way into fucking government buildings or whatever. No, that's bullshit in a free democracy.
100%.
That's not...
They should be forcing it down my face. I should be sick of hearing why... Because, for a small example, and there's 100 examples, but Rudd announced the other day that they want to move the Garden Island Navy base, which is Woolloomooloo, the bottom of King's Cross, or Russell Crowe's old place. They want to fuck that off to Queensland, to Brisbane. Why? Well, really, the reason is that he's losing the seats in Queensland, and that'll give jobs, economic boost. People will then relocate and it'll be good for the area. Well, what does that do to the Sydney base? Well, that doesn't matter because that's a safe seat. We know we've got no one locked away, so we don't need to worry about that. That's the reason for the move.
And on top of that, if there's no base there, there'll be some shit hot apartments.
And they're talking about cruise ships. They're saying, well, we want to make Australia a cruise ship destination. And someone said, well, there's only fucking 12 cruises that come here now. How many more? It's not going to go to 100.
Yeah, or you're never going to be doing a Mediterranean cruise, and Australia's one of the fucking stops.
Exactly right. This is why it's just so stupid. It's like, no, that's such a knee-jerk policy, and the reasoning behind it is crap. And when asked about why do you want to do it, well, we think it'd be good for the Queensland economy. Well, of course it would. You could move the entire country above that particular latitude into the northern half, and it'd be good for the country. But why? The amount of money it's going to cost is just fucking... Because Sydney Harbour's quite good for that purpose, and that base has been there for not 100 years, but pretty fucking close to it. Like it's 80 years, 70 years, something like that. Apparently, most of the cost in relocating to this Queensland port is dredging, securing the land so it doesn't slide into the water, digging out the sand and the crap from the bottom and making it deep enough. It's like, well, that doesn't sound like a very good idea. So they've asked the question, he hasn't responded, and that's it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's never to the point of what the actual is it better for the military or whatever. Is it actually better for the thing? No.
Well, you think about it and you go, what I mean? Okay, well, we're very much surrounded by sea. Our closest neighbour, New Zealand, we're on a pretty good relationship with them. Tasmanians are Australians. They seem to like us, given all the jokes. We're talking about the northern border. We're talking Asian countries, and we're talking that into, those continents. You know what I mean? So we're saying, okay, for an Australian defensive position, we don't need to worry about people from the Antarctic coming up, penguins fucking launching a thing. We need to secure that northern border. If there's a problem, that would be where it would come from. So you think straight away, and this is just me, this isn't in the media, but you think straight away, we'll move all of the defensive positions, training facilities, warships north. Okay, well, the submarines are based in, South Australia. The Air Force is heavy in, I think, WA. So let's get all that stuff to the northern part of the country, and that seems like a fairly reasonable position to take. But that's not what has been said.
But you saying that made sense.
That's just me. That's the conclusion I've come to.
But that's all if they said Dagger would have made more sense.
I thought that's a reasonable thing to
Even if it was wrong, at least it's on topic.
Instinctively it seems logical. Like if it's
I would have bought it. If the Prime Minister said it, I wouldn't have questioned it.
But when he says it's because we want to put jobs in Brisbane.
That's got nothing to do with...
What's it got to do with defence?
I've got a whole other position, which is why do you have to relocate it? Why can't you have a new one with a whole bunch of other people?
We don't have the money.
Yeah.
That's all it comes down to. You don't have the money. I mean, you know.
Well, yeah.
That's essentially all it is, man. And the problem is that the defence budget is such a very small percentage of the GDP.
Yeah.
Because most of it goes on fucking welfare payments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like, well, I mean, the military guys, they tend to do what you tell them. So if you move the base, they'll probably go with it.
Yeah,
You're not going to go, oh, I'm fucking staying here.
No,
it's not like that.
No,
So
fair enough.
But why was that not? Why was the reason not mentioned? The excuse given was crappy.
Yeah.
And the political machinations behind it was we need to shore up seats.
Yeah.
Now that's what the media has come up with.
Yeah.
That's not what Rudd has said or the Labour Party has said.
You can kind of.
It's a very easy inference to draw.
This is all become. It's just a big chess game.
Exactly.
Big musical chairs fucking game. Like,
yeah.
You know,
the music
stops 7th of September or whatever.
Hopefully you've got a seat and a job and a fucking future. Yeah. But all the policy announcements have been like that. I mean, the way they're doing. The only thing that they've done that I was really a big fan of, and like a proper fan with Gillard, was she put the head of the NDIS centre, so the whole administrative hub in Geelong, where one of the car manufacturing plants had closed down. So she went, there's a hole there, there's jobs, and the guys from the fucking welding cars together aren't going to jump across into admin roles. Yeah. But the idea is there to say, well, they need jobs, they need a centre, they need... the township needs a reason
to exist. I mean, that's what it was. It was a fucking...
Exactly. It was built up around that manufacturing thing. Okay, so it's not an exact one-for-one, but at the same time, there are jobs in that town again now. Because the business has pulled out, well, the government's going to plug that hole. Yeah. Corporates have pulled out, government's going to step in. Yeah. That was Gillard. Yeah. That was like 6 months ago, maybe 5 months ago. Yeah. What's happened since then? We're moving Garden Island to the north. Like, why the fuck? Yeah. How is that going to work up? You know, and then the media goes and interviews this lady who runs a sandwich shop, and she goes, all my business is from the Navy personnel. I'm going to have to close down. And that's meant to make me feel like it's a shit idea. Oh, we better not move it then, because this poor woman who's selling sandwiches is going to have to close down. Yeah. Like,
it's not. Yeah.
Her $1,000 a week sandwich business. Yeah. Over the defence of the nation, you know, like it's just fucking
it's all
dumb.
It's never the issue. It's always
it's the bullshit
and fucking around. And,
I just want some straight talk. No one's done it. Even Rudd, who, according to this, you know, is my preferred over Abbott out of the two parties, because really that's all we've got. Yeah. Apparently, I'm supposed to be aligned with him. He's really lost me the way he's carrying on, and it's just carry on. It's like, mate, answer the fucking question. Yeah. Don't talk about him. Don't mention his name. Don't talk about Abbott. Yeah. Don't talk about the Liberal Party. Yeah. Answer the question about your own party. I don't want to hear you say, well, the other guy reckons. No. Yeah. What do you reckon? I want to hear from you. Yeah, and Abbott does the same.
And that's the thing. That's all that's come down. It's just a game that you have to win, and then you can just go and sit pretty 3 years.
Yeah, that's
it. Literally.
Once you're in, it doesn't matter what you've said either. They change the things that they've said. Like they're not beholden to anybody. Yeah. So you know, it's like, fuck. It's so annoying. It's so annoying to watch because there's 23 million people in the country. Let's say 12 million of them can vote. Just over half or just under half. Let's say, hang on, 24, just over half. Yeah. Let's say out of that, 1 million people give a shit and have researched and looked into it and actually know. Yeah. So we're talking 1/12, like 10% maybe.
And then depending
20%.
on where they live,
exactly,
those votes could mean fuck all anyway.
Exactly. We're building a highway. Well, if you're building a highway, I'm going to vote for you. Well, hang on a minute. What they're not telling you is they're taking money out of the local hospital to put that road through. Like, it's just fucking dumb. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I live in the Wentworth.
Yeah.
It's Turmoil.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, even if I could vote, mate, he's not going anywhere. Like,
yeah, he's staying. Yeah. Because he's one of the people. He's a rich, wealthy man who's been here for however long. Yeah. His net worth is fucking astronomical, that guy. Yeah. He's a politician. He's not Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah. He wasn't a movie star in a past life. So, because he's going to maintain the way of life of the people in his circle, in the electorate, he's going to be safe. Well, should he be? Is he the right guy for the job? Well, he's not going to tax us. He might tax everyone else. Yeah. But he's not going to tax us, so I'm okay with that. Yeah. So,
well, that's why it's all a bit funny the way that all kind of works. It's not just everybody votes and then they fucking split it in half. You know what I mean? And go, like there's one big pool.
No, the preference thing that they're doing is ridiculous. Yeah. Like you've got coalition members, the Nationals, using their preferences to ensure Labor win seats in WA.
Well, without even being that technical about it, though, like what I'm saying is like, I guess it comes to like geographical populations. So if there's a lot of, I'm going to simplify the fuck out of this.
Yeah, go for it.
Like, there's more people in Sydney than fucking South Australia, Perth and Darwin.
Yeah.
Right? But if everyone in Sydney voted one way, it still wouldn't mean that many people's votes counted more than all three of those places put together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's all very chopped up and...
Yeah, it's dumb. The system's a bit crappy.
I don't really get it, which is a thing in itself.
Well, that's a problem.
Yeah, no one really understands it. Like, there are, in the general kind of conversation, it's all a bit vague. People, how many people do you know just, I have to go vote today? Fuck, I'm going to go vote.
Oh, no, 5 o'clock, I better go and vote. No one's queuing up to get in there and...
Go in there, write, fuck you, on the piece of paper and...
Drop it in.
I mean, it's, fuck you, I could have had another beer by now. And putting it in the...
Well, that's what it is.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's all a bit... You should care, but,
Yeah. But people don't.
And it's... Yeah, I think you're on something because the US there's complaints about people should have to vote. Whereas you make a good point in saying, well, maybe people shouldn't.
Maybe we shouldn't. I haven't heard that mentioned in the press. That's my own thought about, well, the people who are voting, like if you work for a large corporation and you're a shit kicker, whatever you do, your vote, you don't get a vote. They don't ask you your opinion because you're not learned enough in that in that realm for your opinion to matter. And I think that in Australian politics, it's very much so. Like football clubs don't let you vote unless you're, like who's the new president of the club? Well, unless you're a fucking board member or whatever, you don't get. So why are we letting?
Well, I mean, I think that I'm not taking it that far. I'm just saying it's that idea of you have the right to vote if you want, but don't just rock up because we're going to fine you.
That's exactly it.
Yeah, just. Because if you can't be fucked going to vote, it probably means you're going to write "fuck you" on a piece of paper.
Yeah, and chuck it in the thing. Yeah.
So
that's the problem.
That's what I'm saying. It's like because if you're going to go out your way to vote, because it's your right. To vote.
Then you probably are educated on the subject.
Or you're going to at least have some kind of glance at either way and go, okay, I'm going to vote for this guy.
You have an opinion.
Yeah, it might not really count in the grand scheme of things, but I'm consciously going there to...
That's my position, and I'm going to go along with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. No, I think people should vote. But I don't think they should be forced to vote.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of 18-year-old kids who are going to vote for one guy because he said the funniest thing, or he drinks beer, or he's fucking...
And the fucking sad part on that is, like you said, it's become a personalities thing.
Yeah.
Neither of these two guys are that.
No.
Like, it's not like one of them's, like Obama, where you look at him and go, okay, I can see that this guy seems like a leadership type.
Yeah.
Regardless of policies or any of that shit. He just, okay, this guy,
he has like, that.
Someone who could run a company or,
He speaks and you listen.
Yeah.
When Rudd starts speaking, you kind of go, shut up, mate. And Abbott, the same.
Fuck. Abbott, like I said, my opinion on Abbott is just, I look at him and go, fuck, I could not.
Well, in less than a week, mate, have this. He's going to be representing the country at the G20.
Yeah.
He's going to be up on the world stage as the Australian Prime Minister.
That's the thing I find, fuck, even... Italian politics, and you got Berlusconi, and he's a clown, but he still is someone with a presence. Like that guy, regardless of all the bullshit, and whatever, right? All that aside, he at least has that figurehead.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Like where you look at him and go, okay, that's the so and so.
Yeah,
you don't get that from these guys.
No, they're hopeless.
It's
they're all hopeless though. You know what I mean, and that's the problem.
Even going back with your Bob Hawkes and all that, they at least you almost feel like that's an Australian Prime Minister. He's a bit bit of a larrikin, but still has a presence about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, he was one of the better prime ministers he was prime minister when I was growing up.
Kind of felt like a prime minister. You know what I mean? Like you just go, that's a prime minister. You know?
Yeah. He's the guy.
Yeah.
Keating the same.
Yeah,
even John Howard, man. Like
to a degree. I think John Howard was more of a longevity, kind of a figurehead, kind of a...
He got a bit silly at the end. Like, the respect people had for him was going at the end.
Yeah.
But when he got in, he was...
I mean, he always... Yeah, for me, he never... I know, you kind of just went, he's out. He's the prime minister.
Yeah.
John Howard's the prime minister. It kind of just... It fit. But at the same time, he wasn't... What's the word? He wasn't inspiring.
Yeah.
By fucking any... stretch of the imagination there. And that... So he almost started that.
Yeah.
You know? This thinking of...
He's a personality, not a politician kind of thing.
Well, he's not a leader. I mean, that's what I'm getting at. I think a leader needs to be someone who you go, okay, that's someone who knows more than me on stuff.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I don't want this. Go jogging with Tony Abbott. No. This is one of you... No, this guy should have earned, I don't know, military service, or he did fucking something, like he ran a business, or I don't know what these guys are about.
Well, he's had a business life before he was a politician. But
I wouldn't want to work for him.
No, fuck no.
You know, it's not fucking Richard Branson was running the country. You'd go, this guy made himself.
Yeah, from zero to billion.
He might not know fuck all about any of the things. Technically, like you can tell that when he walks in the room, people listen. You know, this.
Well, he's got the people around him.
Yeah,
that's the whole point.
Yeah,
you don't want to be shuffling people around the cabinet willy nilly to try. No. Well, now you're in charge of education, and now you're in charge of the environment. It's like, hang on a minute, what's his specialty?
Yeah, he wasn't a former teacher.
Yeah, why is he the treasurer? Yeah. Why the fuck? Like, no, that's not. Yeah. That's not what I want to be hearing.
Yeah.
Oh, but then we've got all these departments. Well, why have you got all those departments?
Yeah.
Like, tell me about it, because we're in a bit of trouble. Economy is a little bit shaky, like as much as they tell you it isn't. It's a little bit dicey where we're sitting. They're trying to turn around a $40 billion, whatever the latest number is. It changes between 20 and 70.
Yeah.
Call it 45.
Yeah.
They're trying to turn that deficit into a 20 billion surplus within 5 years. So essentially they're trying to find something between 60 and $85 billion. And it's like, well, how are you going to do it? Well, Tony Abbott's gone, well, we're going to cut things, but we're not telling you what they are until I get voted in.
Could be.
And you don't know, he could go, no Navy.
On the ground,
like, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's how I did it, guys. Because the other shit he says is fucking wacky enough.
Yeah.
Sorry, on the ground?
No, like on the ground for the last whole Labor government. I haven't heard anything about an issue in the, like, finance, you know, in the economy of the nation. We've been doing well, from my understanding.
We got out of GFC virtually unscathed.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
You know,
we've got the highest credit rating of a lot of developed countries. We're not the top, but we hold, I think, the highest going. There's a lot of other countries the same sort of tier.
What I mean is, and it's only in the last quarter, or whatever the right word is, that you've started to hear that, okay, now Australia's...
Well, that's because it helps the libs to say that. That's all it is.
Yeah. And I mean, I haven't seen a change. You know, like, I mean, there was that first initial, when the GFC hit everybody, that there was some panic and some cutting and jobs going. But that was a very quick...
Yeah.
That was like a couple of weeks.
That was like the millennium bug. Yeah. Everyone knee-jerked and went, shit, what are we going to do?
Get rid of people and tighten up and, you know, no Friday night drinks or whatever. Like, it was all very quick and, you know.
Yeah, and then it all kind of went away. Well, it went away because of what they were doing. It went away because of the management of the government.
And everyone that I know who lost a job at that time got a job again.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a fucking...
shut down wholesale.
Yeah. You know, where there was millions of people out of work.
Yeah.
Fucking zombie apocalypse. You know, which is, you know, what's happening.
No looting.
Yeah.
In America and people living in cars. And,
it did happen. You know? So as far as I've been hearing for the last 3 years, Australia's done well for financially, economy, whatever.
Well, the Libs are saying that, or the coalition, because the Nationals are not. Although Warren Truss is the leader of the Nationals, and he's not in the fucking media,
right?
Because they don't want him talking, because he's fucking 112 years old, and he looks like a bad uncle. Like, it's not the kind of guy you want. Well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
They're saying that the reason that we've done so well is because we borrowed money. We borrowed money from all over the world. But who's got money that we borrowed? Like, that's a very... I have got no facts. Or I'm just curious because no one said anything about that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it from Pakistan? Or is it from China?
Yeah.
Or is it from America? America has no money. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? It's
very...
You get half the pieces
and the other half... You've got to figure it out.
Yeah. Well,
and that's the thing. It's that's the kind of statement. It's a like dark statement. It's well, we borrowed money.
Yeah.
And half your brain just takes that in and goes, oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. And you're a guy in a tie.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. Yeah. And then only once you process that, do you go, well, who did we borrow money for?
What's going on? Yeah.
What do you mean? Like,
what were the interest rates?
Because the guy's got the Comsec logo behind him or whatever the fuck it is, you just take it as that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Good. We're good then. We needed some. We borrowed it. Yeah. That's what you do when you're short.
Yeah. But if that's either that could be a positive statement in one tone of voice or a negative one, another tone of voice. You don't actually.
Well, what are the ramifications?
You're not making an opinion.
Didn't borrow that money.
Yeah.
If we didn't borrow it, what would have happened? Well, X, Y, and Z. Yeah. Okay. Shit.
That's fine.
Based on that, we needed it. Yeah. Good job. Thanks very much. That's nowhere. Yeah. That's not being said. That would never. Labor would tell you that we needed to do it.
Yeah.
But they're the ones who did it. So you kind of got to go,
And vice versa.
And the Liberals say, well, we didn't need to do it because we want to be in government and you guys shouldn't be. So, well, okay, what's the actual bona fides of it? What actually is the case there? I want to know. And I do want to know.
Yeah.
It's not, I feel like I should. No, I really, just tell me. I'd love to know what it is, please. I'd like to understand more some of the decisions that have been made.
You've touched on half a dozen really fucking important things. And as far as I'm concerned, I should know all about these without having to go far.
Yeah.
You know?
We should be having a discussion.
And you haven't brought up vote people or fucking NBN. You know what I mean? And that's
what's being fought on.
That's what's fucking... You've touched on real shit that
affects Australian people.
You know, with the research you've done.
Yeah.
And tried to do. And none of that's... You know, and someone could easily tell me, oh, it's there, you're just not, reading the articles. And it's like, but you are reading the articles.
It's not there.
And you're not really getting it, And you shouldn't have to. Like, that's the thing. All the time and effort on the fucking vote people bullshit.
Yeah.
Half of that, tell me about why we borrowed or didn't borrow money.
Yeah.
And whether the current government should stay on because they're doing a good job or not.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the boat people thing, I'm not going to get into.
No, I didn't want to get into it, and that was my point. I don't
understand.
That was my point.
It could be Christmas in July.
Yeah.
And we're staking a whole campaign on, and I'm purposefully making it the worst thing that's going on on our borders that needs to be fixed, and something fucking stupid such as Christmas in July. It could be either thing, and it's like, well, just sort it out. That sounds like something that needs to be fucking sorted out.
Yeah.
Do you know the coalition plans to sort it out? Have you heard the latest? What they plan to do is send people into Indonesia with checkbooks and buy fishing boats.
Yeah. That's what we touched on. But that's the thing. We sort of spoke about all that, and that we were talking about that aspect of the election, the MVN.
The last show we did.
It was all about that sort of stuff. And my point then was there's got to be more important issues. And now you pretty much have laid them all out subconsciously or unconsciously, whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And none of those are getting that sort of attention.
Oh, no, fuck no.
Until now, when there's a couple of days left, and then we'll tell you at the last minute the shit that's actually going to affect your paycheck or your tax rate or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's all the point I was making there. We're like not dredging up all that bullshit again.
Yeah.
It's just to say, fuck, there is actually day-to-day shit that's going on. And
it's not getting coverage.
You know.
No. Because we're watching footage of Kevin Rudd with school kids again, and we're watching footage of Tony Abbott in a high-visibility vest again. That's all it is. Yeah. Next time you watch the news... Tell me what Kevin Rudd's doing.
Yeah.
He'll be surrounded by people, most likely school kids. Yeah. There'll always be a foreigner next to him. And Tony Abbott will be wearing a high-vis vest.
Yeah.
It's fucking stupid. With a hard hat. Yeah, safety goggles. Yeah. Oh, yeah, she's a good sort. Hang on a minute. Whoa. You didn't need to put on all that gear to fucking pay her out. Why? You worried she's going to slap you or something?
Yeah.
You want to make sure that we know it's you who's the fucking idiot? Like, come on, man. I just, by default, he can't be the guy to run the country. Yeah. Whether he's got the best fucking cabinet, which he doesn't.
Yeah. Oh, but yeah, that's right. All that aside,
him alone is enough to make people go.
It's actually quite painful to think about. Like,
I don't want him representing me.
Yeah,
I don't.
And that's what I think. You just don't, even like I said, if you're an American, you might fucking hate Obama and all the policies, but at least from the world perspective, you look at that guy and you think, oh, well, he looks
presidential.
He looks presidential. Yeah. And these guys they carry on like it's carry on. Obama doesn't carry on.
No,
Lincoln didn't carry on. Fucking, you know what I mean? These people didn't carry on. Like, they were fucking...
I'm here to do a job, guys.
Leaguers.
I'm getting into it.
Yeah. Like, there's nothing... fucking Bill Clinton. He's carrying on. Even with all the shit he did, with all that whole fucking debacle, he still comes out looking...
Well, he still goes and talks and people cheer and clap and love him.
You know?
He's still a fucking well-respected leader.
That's how much of a presence these
George
guys.
Bush Jr., not.
No. He didn't have any of those fucking issues.
No.
Like, and he still looks like a fucking...
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters.
Yeah.
Fucking some chick doesn't matter. Like, okay, it matters to his wife and his family and her family, but to me, on the other side of the world, what's he doing? Well, he's sorting out global issues. He got in the way of the Iraq thing and he's, sorting out to the best of what we understand over here. Yeah. He's doing things to make things better. Obama seems to be doing so. I know he's unpopular over there and has a lot of issues, but I don't think you're going to keep 300 million people happy no matter what the fuck you do.
Yeah, that's right. But that's all I'm getting at. It's not about the things. It's just having that presence. And when I think leadership, I don't think about any of this crap. I think about a guy who looks like a leader. And
acts like a leader. Yeah. If Kevin Rudd had to come out with Tony Abbott doing his bullshit lies and carry on and acting and whatever, if Kevin Rudd had to come out and say, look, I'm not getting involved in that.
Yeah.
We'll let him do this and I'm actually going to tell you how I'm going to run the country. People will vote for him.
Yeah.
100%. Why would you not?
Yeah.
Why would you not? If you see two people having a stupid fight, neither of them really gets your esteem. No. You don't look at him and go, well, he's the guy I like because he's got the same jumper as me. You're both being fucking stupid.
Yeah.
One of you needs to grow up and the other one needs to piss off.
Yeah.
Well, that's all this is. Yeah. They're both acting like idiots. They're both going about it well and truly the wrong way.
Yeah.
And now we're going to end up, because Labor has lost it, I don't think the coalition has won it. You know what I mean? We're going to end up with the wrong guy on pretty much every level running the joint.
And it's funny because, I thought Abbott was gone years ago. I thought that was done.
He should have been.
Yeah. And
he was unelectable. They were saying it. The media was running stories. Yeah. This man is unelectable. When he took over from Turnbull, he should not be the leader of the coalition.
Yeah.
How did this happen?
Yeah.
There was outrage because he's a bit of a fucking dickhead. Yeah. He's a misogynist. He's
big time. Right.
Backwards views on abortion, gay marriage.
Yeah.
Like, he's not even allowing... Like, all the things that you want to say, that's that guy. So why is he 56 or 54 to 46 preferred Prime Minister?
Yeah, it's...
Because the other guys are knobhead as well.
Yeah,
like,
it's not a good... Fuck, it's not a good thing.
Not real good, mate.
Yeah, so... Well, we'll leave it at that because we'll definitely do an hour
once it all comes out.
After it all happens, I guess.
Yeah,
you know?
And look, I've got to say as well, like politics and I don't know if this is what people tune into a podcast for, but you know what? It's a different topic that really should be discussed.
Yeah, I think everything we talk about is at this level. It's at the man on the street level.
Totally.
Like, I don't know. I might sound like a fucking idiot on this thing.
But you're speaking your mind, and that's what we're here for.
This is what I see. This is what I...
Yeah. That's what's filtered in.
Stuff I'm trying to come up... And I guess I'm not saying I've done all my research or I know anything about this stuff. Well, I just know my interpretation isn't what I think it should be. I think, leadership, I shouldn't be worried about, like you said, gaffs and the fucking guy's glasses or whatever.
So
I should just be going, this guy looks like a leader and he's going to represent the country. Because the day-to-day bullshit, I mean, I know they cut money and budget, but the day-to-day stuff's really handled at a fucking state level.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I don't imagine that these guys are going to drastically change things. They really never has.
Well, this is the only thing is like when a Liberal Premier got into Queensland, he cut a lot of public sector jobs and hospitals. Yeah. And the worry is, because that was a Labor state for a long time, and a Bligh got booted, natural disasters. I think we talked about it before. Yeah. Campbell Newman's coming and going, well, we're cutting all the stuff that actually fucking counts. Yeah. So you needed, you with your bike story, you might have walked in and there was no nurses. Yeah. There wasn't one behind the counter, okay, but someone walked past and saw you. She might have gone, I've got a woman in Labor to deal with, you know, in Queensland. You know, you just don't know. Yeah. And the thing is, now that there's a Liberal Prime Minister, all but certain that he's going to be Liberal Prime Minister, because the polls are now outside the margin of error. Right. Yeah. So you can't even say, oh, we don't know. Yeah. It's like, well, actually, it's kind of clear. Yeah. That's probably where he's going to cut his health and public sector jobs.
That's fair.
Well, what do all those people do? Yeah. They can't go work for Holden.
No.
Because Holden's fucking closing down. Yep. You know what I mean? Like,
it is. No, you're right. It definitely does affect. In my head, they haven't even done the first thing right, which is just perception, public view.
Absolutely. But you know what's funny about that? Yeah. You know that that's all they've been focused on for the last 3 months. Yeah. Or since Kevin Rudd's got back in and called an election, that is their one priority is public perception. And for you to say they haven't done a thing about it,
that's right.
That's such a worry because that's all they've tried to do.
That's all they've tried and they haven't got it right. But you can't, fucking Abbott's never going to look. This isn't the fucking days of, you know, classical artwork where you go, make me look like fucking, you know, Napoleon, make me look like a fucking god or whatever.
Change my appearance so that I'm remembered in a better way.
I mean, that's not, you know, with the fucking cape and the flying in the wind and the sword leading the army. I mean, that's we're not in that world. Fuck, everyone's got a fucking camera in their pocket now. So you can't walk. You can't even be in your house and fucking, you know, not have someone snap photos of you or whatever. So like you can't do that now, you know.
But the problem seems to be that Rudd's quickest to the bottom as well. Yeah. His public campaign has been really shambolic. And a lot of people are saying, well, there is no campaign. It's just him. Because how many other ministers from Labor have you seen? Yeah,
he's very much, he's come in and he's gone, fuck, I've got to sort all this out myself kind of thing.
Which is
why. Too much shit going on behind me. Yep. I'm not bringing any of them into the picture. Yep. It's a fucking schmozzle. Yep. I've at least got a face.
Yeah, but that's why they voted him out in the first place. That's why Gillard got in. Yeah. Because he was doing everything and he was doing it all fairly poorly. Yeah. And that people got upset. Yeah. Business got upset. Yeah. The public got upset. His cabinet got upset.
So he's come back in and gone, well, I'm just doing all this.
Well, apparently he's changed and all this.
Yeah, but he's still doing it.
He's the same guy.
And it's the worst time. Like, this was the time to change maybe. Yeah. But it's also the most riskiest. Yeah. Yeah, in terms of he's coming going, I got to sort this out. Mm. And that might have even been what he said to him. Mm. Like, I'm not coming back and trying to fucking change. I'm coming back in and sorting your fucking mess out.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of perception that all he wanted to do was topple Gillard and everything else was secondary to that. He wanted to get her back.
Yeah.
But look, maybe we should end it. I'll give you two facts. Yep. One of which I've completely forgotten. So I won't give you any facts. I had something I was going to say that was, I got it. All right, so two facts. One, the catastrophic loss that Labor was headed for under Julia Gillard and the reason she got voted out again during that leadership spill and has disappeared. Have you seen her in the media?
No, she's gone.
An interview? Have you seen a photo? Have you seen anything?
No, I think that was the point.
That was it. She's gone. Yeah. She's long gone. She retired from politics. Yeah. She's gone. Her final day, I cried about 4 times. The speeches people gave about her and her reaction, and it was just like, this is a human, and to be treated as badly as she's been treated by the media more than anybody else, it was really hard, man. Like, it was pretty rough. The loss that they were headed for under her is now worse under Rudd Mark II.
Right.
So what they were worried about happening, what they were trying to prevent by getting rid of her, putting Rudd back in, it's happened anyway, and even worse. Yeah. The second point I want to make is that the gestation period of an elephant is 22 months. That has nothing to do with politics, but fuck, I need to have said something factual during this whole discussion and rant. So there you go. Yeah. So there's 2 things you can take away and you can tell people at school. if you're lucky enough to fucking go to school. Yeah. And like you say, we'll come back after it and we'll do a post-erection wrap-up. Cool. See how we go. Thanks for talking to me.
No, thanks for enlightening us on,
a little bit there and there. But yeah, okay, so 22 months.
Cool. Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.